The judgment and escape. The transmission arrived without warning. Every screen on Earth simultaneously displayed the same image. 7 alien beings seated at a curved crystalline table. Their appearances varied dramatically, some with multiple limbs, others with skin that shimmered like liquid metal, and one that seemed to be composed entirely of translucent energy. People of Earth, spoke the central figure, its voice translated into all human languages simultaneously. We are the Grand Council of the Galactic Confederation, overseers of peace and progress in this sector. After centuries of observation, we have convened to evaluate your species for potential membership. In Geneva, Secretary General Elena Kowalski called an emergency session of the United Nations. Scientists, military leaders, and diplomats from every nation gathered while analysis teams worked to verify the transmission. The signal originated from beyond Jupiter's orbit. This was no hoax. 3 days later, massive vessels appeared in Earth's orbit. They sent no further communications, simply hovering there like metallic clouds, visible even during daylight hours. Dr. Maya Chen, Earth's foremost xenolinguist and diplomat, led the human delegation. At 42, she had negotiated peace between warring nations on 4 continents. If anyone could represent humanity effectively, it was her. The Council sent transport vessels, sleek crafts that defied known physics, to bring the human representatives aboard their command ship. Maya and her team of 15 specialists entered a vast chamber where representatives from 32 alien civilizations awaited them. The Central Council member, a being with iridescent skin and 4 arms, spoke. "We have analyzed your species thoroughly, your biology, your history, your conflicts, your potential." For 1 week, the delegation answered questions about Earth's nations, wars, technological development, and cultural achievements. Maya felt increasingly uneasy as the questioning focused heavily on human conflicts rather than achievements. On the final day, the Council rendered their judgment. Species, human. Classification, aggressive predator with unstable social structures, high technological development rate, and concerning expansion tendencies. Recommendation, containment. Maya stepped forward. "With respect, our history shows continuous improvement. We've overcome many of our violent tendencies and established global cooperation. You've driven thousands of your own planet's species to extinction," interrupted a council member with 6 eyes arranged in a hexagon around its head. "Your nations still maintain armies despite achieving global communication. You developed nuclear weapons before establishing unified governance. That's not fair," Maya argued. "Many council species must have gone through similar developmental stages. None that reached your level of destructive capacity while still divided," said the leader. "The risk you pose to galactic stability is unacceptable." The Council's decision was final. Earth would be contained within its solar system by an energy barrier. No human vessels would be permitted to travel beyond it. No further contact would be established until humans had evolved beyond their destructive nature, a process the Council estimated would take thousands of years. When the delegation returned to Earth, chaos erupted. Some nations threatened military action against the alien vessels, but military leaders quickly reported that weapons systems worldwide had been neutralized. Within days, a shimmering wall of energy appeared at the edge of the solar system. Probes sent toward it disintegrated upon contact. Humanity was caged. In the aftermath, Earth's governments achieved what countless wars and crises had failed to do. The United Earth Government formed within months, combining resources and knowledge across all nations. Dr. Ravi Sharma, a quantum physicist from Mumbai, stood before the newly formed Earth Council 5 years after the quarantine began. "The barrier operates on principles we can study," he said firmly. "No cage is perfect. Given time and resources, we will find a way through." The race to escape had begun. Humanity, for the first time in its turbulent history, had a single focus: to prove the Galactic Council wrong. 30 years passed since the barrier went up. Earth had changed dramatically. Where once nations competed, now humanity worked as one. The United Earth government unified all research, pooling resources toward a single goal: breaking free of their cosmic prison. Dr. Kaito Tanaka stood before the wall of equations that had consumed his mentor's life. Dr. Sharma had died 3 years ago. His final words: "Keep looking." At 41, Kaito had spent his entire career studying the energy barrier that kept humanity trapped in the solar system. "I found it," he whispered, his voice barely audible in the silent laboratory. His assistant, Layla, looked up from her station. "Found what?" Kaito pointed to a section of equations. "It's not uniform. The barrier pulses. There's a pattern. Every 37.8 hours, there's a micro-fluctuation lasting approximately 1.7 seconds. That's not much time," Lila said, frowning. "No," Kaito agreed, "but it's enough for a specialized craft and—" He paused, eyes widening as realization struck. "If something can pass through during these fluctuations, we can establish a permanent weakness." Within days, Kaito presented his findings to the Earth Council. The chamber fell silent as the implications became clear. "We can send a probe through during these fluctuations?" asked Council Chairperson Amara Okafor. "Better," Kaito replied. "We can send a ship, a small one, specially designed to slip through the gap and immediately activate stealth systems. And once through, we can deploy devices to maintain these fluctuations, creating permanent gateways." The Council approved Project Exodus immediately. For 2 years, engineers worked in secret bases on Mars and in asteroid facilities, building vessels designed specifically to exploit the barrier's weakness. They incorporated every technological advancement humanity had made during their isolation: zero-point energy, quantum computing, and material science far beyond what existed before first contact. Captain Sofia Rodriguez was selected to lead the mission. At 33, she represented the first generation born after the quarantine. Raised on stories of the stars beyond their reach, her determination was unmatched. Her crew of 8 were the best pilots, engineers, and scientists Earth could provide. "Remember," Kaito told them during the final briefing, "once through, you must remain undetected. The Council likely monitors the area beyond the barrier. Your ship's stealth technology should hide you from their sensors, but take no unnecessary risks." On launch day, tension filled the control center. Kaito's eyes remained fixed on his displays, tracking the barrier's energy patterns. "Fluctuation approaching in 3 minutes," he announced. "Pathfinder, prepare for launch sequence." The sleek vessel named Pathfinder moved silently toward the edge of the solar system, its systems running at minimal power to avoid detection. 60 seconds, Kaito called. Inside Pathfinder, Captain Rodriguez gripped her controls. Her heart pounded, but her hands remained steady. The entire crew sat in silence, years of training focused on this moment. 10 seconds. 5, 3, 2, 1, go. Rodriguez pushed the engines to full power. Pathfinder shot forward, accelerating toward what appeared to be solid energy. For a heart-stopping moment, the ship seemed to shimmer, caught between 2 states of existence. Then they were through. "Stealth systems active," reported Engineer Jacobs. "No alarms detected." A collective breath released across the crew. Rodriguez looked at the navigation display, seeing for the first time stars that no human had been allowed to visit. "We made it," she whispered. "Deploy the gateway stabilizers and set course for the Proxima system." For 2 months, Pathfinder explored nearby star systems, carefully avoiding Council patrol routes. In the Epsilon Eridani system, they discovered an abandoned outpost on a small rocky planet. "This isn't Council technology," Science Officer Chen reported, examining the strange machinery. "It's older." The team carefully documented everything, collecting samples and data. When they accessed the outpost's computer systems, they found technical information unlike anything seen on Earth: propulsion systems, energy production methods, and material science far beyond even Council technology. Most importantly, They discovered the specifications for a stealth system that operated outside Council detection methods. When Pathfinder returned through the gateway, the crew brought with them the keys to humanity's expansion. "This changes everything," Kaito said, examining the recovered technology. "The Council doesn't use this propulsion method. If we develop it ourselves, we could build ships that can move through space without them knowing," Rodriguez finished. The Council had meant to cage humanity. Instead, they had created an invisible empire in waiting. The Silent Empire rises. 50 years after Pathfinder's historic journey, humanity had become a ghost among the stars. The United Earth government, now calling itself the Terran Confederation, operated in perfect secrecy beyond the barrier. Admiral Ileana Rodriguez, daughter of the legendary Captain Sofia Rodriguez, stood on the bridge of the exploration vessel Horizon. At 45, she had her mother's steady nerves and strategic mind. The ship hovered at the edge of a system the Confederation had designated Key 274, far from any known Council activity. "Sensors show no artificial signals," reported her first officer, Commander Jackson. "The third planet looks promising. Atmosphere similar to Earth. Abundant water." Ileana nodded. "Take us in, standard approach. Full sensor sweep." This would be the 37th star system colonized by humans in the past half-century. Each new outpost followed strict protocols. Build underground, minimize electromagnetic signatures, and always maintain the appearance of an uninhabited world. The Horizon descended through clouded layers to find rolling plains and dense forests. As they flew over a mountain range, something caught Ileana's attention. "There," she pointed. "Those formations don't look natural." They landed near a series of regular stone structures, partially buried under centuries of soil and vegetation. The team donned environmental suits and approached cautiously. "This isn't Council architecture," said Dr. Emerson, the expedition's archaeologist. "The design elements are completely different." He ran his scanner over the weathered stone. "According to preliminary dating, these structures are over 100,000 years old." Inside the ruins, they found chambers filled with artifacts, strange devices, records inscribed in an unknown language, and murals depicting beings unlike any Council species. Most exciting of all was a sealed vault deep within the complex. "It's still active," Emerson whispered as they approached the faintly glowing door. After all this time, it took 4 days to safely open the vault. Inside, they discovered intact technology, devices that still functioned despite their age. Most important was a data repository containing detailed information about the civilization that built it. "They called themselves the predecessors," Emerson explained during the team's briefing. "According to these records, they were among the first spacefaring species in this part of the galaxy, spreading across thousands of systems before the Council even existed." Ileana studied the translated text on her screen. "It says they were driven to extinction." Emerson nodded grimly. "By the early Council. The predecessor's technology was developing along lines the Council's founding species considered dangerous. Rather than risk competition, they systematically eliminated them. The implications were staggering. The Galactic Council, which claimed to protect civilized space, had been built on genocide. When the Horizon returned to Nova Terra, humanity's first and largest colony beyond the barrier, the discovery triggered intense debate among Confederation leadership. Admiral Marcus Chen, commander of the growing human fleet, studied the predecessor technology with great interest. Their approach to physics was fundamentally different from current Council methods, he observed. "If we integrate these principles with our own developments, we could leap centuries ahead," finished Chief Scientist Olivia Makey. "But more importantly, we'd be developing along technological paths the Council doesn't monitor or understand." Over the next 2 decades, humans established outposts in 50 more systems, focusing on areas with traces of predecessor activity. Each ruin yielded new insights, gradually revealing the true history of the galaxy. one the Council had carefully erased from official records. In hidden shipyards orbiting distant stars, the Confederation built vessels incorporating predecessor principles. These ships were faster, more powerful, and most importantly, completely undetectable to Council sensors. Humanity now controlled over 300 star systems, all without the Council's knowledge. Mining operations on uninhabited worlds provided resources. Advanced farming and terraforming projects fed the growing population. Research stations pushed the boundaries of science beyond anything Earth had known before the quarantine. The silent empire grew, patient and watchful, knowing that eventual discovery was inevitable. When that day came, humanity would not be found cowering behind the barrier. They would emerge as a power unlike anything the Council had ever faced or feared. The Council patrol ship Enforcer moved through the Procyon system on a routine survey mission. Its commander, Officer Xarel, was bored. This region had been empty for centuries. Just another routine check of abandoned space. Commander, detecting unusual energy signatures from the fourth planet, reported the sensor officer. Xarel's 6 eyes blinked in sequence. Specify unusual. Unknown technology, sir. Definitely artificial. And the officer paused. There appears to be a settlement. Impossible, Xarel said, moving to the console. This sector is uninhabited. The Enforcer moved closer, scanning the mysterious outpost. What they discovered shocked them. A thriving human colony of over 50,000 people. Humans? Xarel whispered, beyond the barrier. The Council had nearly forgotten about Earth in the century since the quarantine. Occasionally, a report would confirm the barrier remained intact, but no one had bothered to check if humans had found a way through. News of the discovery spread quickly through Council space. Emergency sessions were called as more patrols confirmed human presence in dozens of systems. The scale of the situation became clear. Humanity had escaped and established a significant foothold in the galaxy. On Novaterra, the unofficial capital of the Confederation, High Admiral Chen received the news with calm resolve. At 67, he had spent his career preparing for this moment. "They'd found us," he announced to the Confederation Council. "A patrol discovered the Procyon colony yesterday." The Council chamber erupted in concerned voices. Some argued for immediate evacuation of exposed colonies. Others suggested more aggressive responses. "We knew this day would come," Chen said firmly. "Our contingency plans are in place. I've already ordered our fleet to defense positions." 3 days later, a Council diplomatic vessel arrived at the edge of the Novaterra system. It transmitted a simple message. "Representatives of the Galactic Council request audience with human leadership regarding your illegal expansion." The message contained no threats, but the implicit meaning was clear. The Council expected compliance, just as they had when they first contacted Earth. High Admiral Chen personally led the delegation to meet the Council representatives aboard a neutral station hastily established in orbit. He wore the formal black uniform of the Confederation fleet, the silver Earth emblem on his chest, matched by the stars of 50 colony worlds on his shoulders. 7 Council representatives waited in the meeting chamber, their expressions ranging from curious to hostile. The leader, a tall being with crystalline skin, spoke first. "Humans, you have violated the terms of your containment. This expansion must cease immediately. All colonies must be abandoned, and your people must return to your home system." Chen smiled slightly. "I'm afraid that won't be possible." "This is not a negotiation," the Council leader said. "It is a directive." "You misunderstand," Chen replied calmly. "I'm not refusing to negotiate. I'm informing you of a reality. Humanity has established 342 colonies across this sector. We have a fleet of over 2,000 vessels. We have rediscovered and improved upon the technology of the predecessors. Yes, we know about them and what your ancestors did to them." The Council representatives shifted uncomfortably. "In the century since you caged us, we've built something you never anticipated. An empire that spans a significant portion of this galaxy, developed entirely beyond your notice. Impossible. whispered one of the council members. Chen activated a holographic display showing the true extent of human territory. Systems spanning a third of the galaxy, some within light years of major council worlds. If we were the savages you judged us to be, we would have struck without warning, Chen continued. Instead, I am here to offer terms. The Terran Confederation will take its place as an equal power in this galaxy. The quarantine of Earth will end, and the Council will acknowledge its historical crimes against the predecessors and other species. And if we refuse, asked the Council leader. Chen's expression hardened. Then we will demonstrate exactly why you should have feared us all along. Our fleets are positioned near every major Council world. Our technology surpasses yours in ways you cannot comprehend. We could dismantle your civilization before you could mobilize a response. The council chamber fell silent. However, Chen's voice softened. We are not the monsters you believed us to be. We prefer peace, cooperation, progress, everything you claim to value, but failed to practice when you encountered a species that challenged your preconceptions. The council representatives conferred quietly. Finally, the leader spoke again. We will consider your terms. As Chen returned to his ship, he gazed out at the stars. The council had tried to contain humanity out of fear of what they might become. In doing so, they had created exactly the power they had sought to prevent. But perhaps with wisdom, the council itself lacked. Humanity had been judged, imprisoned, and forgotten. Now they would reshape the galaxy with an iron will tempered by hard-earned wisdom. The stars that had once been denied to them would witness the rise of a new order, one where fear gave way to cooperation, secrecy to understanding, and isolation to connection. The silent empire would be silent no more.